gets me all up in the slammer. 'Cause the law don't want no gear jammer.
Alright, here we go. I tried this with the Din Din, and I ain't got it all edited and playing yet, so I don't know how it turned out, how everybody liked it or not. But now I'm going to try with the knackle boom, and I am rusty. I've been practicing up this morning because I haven't been rusty on this rig. This rig is this job is a very important job. And it's very stressful. And I get a lot of loggers, it's actually loggers, a lot of loggers try to get me to explain how we cut up logs. Because a lot of loggers finds it weird how we do things because we aren't selling logs. I couldn't grade a log, I couldn't buy a log, I don't know nothing about logs, by selling or buying logs, I don't know nothing about it. Never been exposed to it, don't know nothing about it. What we do here is we're cutting up for lumber, which is total separate deal. Because when you're selling a log, you're trying to make a log look right to sell the log. When you're selling lumber, you're cutting a log, you're cutting a tree up to make the lumber right, is what you're trying to do. And be able to, mill it through our system, There's stuff we can get by with and stuff we can't get by with, and some other people can get by with because of their equipment and their situation, But I'll try to. I'm not in a real good goofy mood. I mean, Stevie's here, but he's not helping. Stevie, you're not doing your job today. And I'm kind of being a crybaby today. So I'm going to kind of do a serious video. Unless he gets to torment me, gets me in a different kind of mood. What's the end of that? Now, and I'll start telling you all the trees. So, because I've been having people that's not in our area ask me what some of the trees are. This is a white oak that I just cut up. Come here. Now I'm cutting up and sorting these a little bit. I call them pre-sorting. Eli sorts in the yard, but I do some pre-sorting for him. So it makes his job a little easier. The priorities of this job, what I'm doing right here, is you're trying to maximize the value of the tree. And we make clear space cuttings in our type of situation here. It ain't like what Cotton Tops are doing. And it ain't like what Paul's doing. It's everybody in this industry is doing stuff differently. Now that log is not going to be a good log because that wound that's on there, that goes way up in that log. But I'm going to try to separate that wound in this log. So the next log takes off wound free. We'll see how close I got. Yep, by golly, we got her. So then what's going on is that wound's not clogging up any of the faces of the next log, see? Every log's got 4 faces. When you turn a round log into a piece of dimension wood, you got 4 faces, Alright, now I got a little crook on the end of this, and the diameter ain't quite big enough to pull much sweep, but I'm going to push it because that's a good clear section right there that's closer to the saw. Tall trees tend to make long logs, short trees tend to make short logs. Kind of as a rule of thumb. And that's a pretty tall tree. This woods is averaging shorter trees. Steve, you're pushing on me. He's got to learn. Or else. See, because we found around here, it helps when you're explaining something in a non-confrontational way, that when you get done criticizing somebody over something, just say or else when you get done and just kind of let it drop. And that usually makes it settle in good to where that way it ain't confrontational, That's how me and Stevie work together. We've had to figure out how to do it in a non-confrontational way, so as not to be stepping on each other's little feelings and getting each other's little feelings hurt. Come on. Now that was an ash tree going extinct in a lot of places. Well, not really extinct, but close to extinct. Okay, yeah, set the trees right in my way, and then, yeah, good idea, Stevie. Great thinking. Productive. Very productive. Good job. Now this is a piece of hickory. Woo! Barely made that one. Pushing that too close on that one. And the saw teeth need freshened up. It's clicking a little bit. You hear that clicking as it's cutting? That's because it's got some bad teeth on it. And hickory is hard. Clicking as it goes through. Need to freshen up some teeth. I'll get her in the next couple days. I'm gonna be on this boom because Big Mom and Big Daddy went to Vegas. My sister and my brother-in-law, they do a carbon company, and they got to go sell their shows, or they got to go bid themselves out to do shows, and they all have a big meeting and stuff in Vegas this time every year to book themselves for the next season. Boy, I'm pushing that saw too much. Now on a circle rig, you don't want to pull that saw down like I'm doing. I'm just pushing that too much. You want to keep that saw spinning fast. It's like a hot saw on a buncher. You get it down there and get her slowed down, then you're going to pay for it in the next couple cuts because it takes it a while to get it built all the way to tip-top notch. Now this is a poplar, and that blue you're seeing in the butt's mineral. What that is that's an overdone tree. It's just a little bit on the overdone side. And it starts down low and it creeps up the tree. Now I should have cut this a 16 footer because that mineral, what that does, it knocks you back one grade. See, the grades and what we're doing are graded off clear face cuttings. Not sound cuttings, clear face cuttings. And that mineral knocks you back a grade. After you get to a certain percentage of it, it knocks you back a grade. But it's usually in red oak and poplar pretty much, and it's down lower in the tree. So you tend to cut along. Now Blackie is sitting in a vulnerable spot. Now this tree, this log, I'm going to do a 10 and a 9, and I'm throwing, and you're trying to cut them uniform to where if you got a lot of clear faces, you're trying to get them in the same log or on the same faces of the log, and you're trying to get your lower grades stuck in a lower grade log, you know, so you're not hanging good wood on a bad log, and you're not hanging bad wood on what you're trying to be a good log, see, so to speak. And them good logs, you're trying to stretch them babies out best you could, and keep that good grade going in that longer face. You know, the longer the lumber, the more surface area you got to make grading calls for upgrades and to pull defects through. You know, if a defect's on a big long board, a wide long board, a defect don't carry as much merit as it does on a short, narrow board, you know. So, you know, log tree size, sweep, and vigorous, you know, because from the inside out, the defects are in the tree too as you get closer to the core. Let's see, I'm gonna push this. It's poplar. I'm gonna push it anyways. There's not a big price difference as you go down to poplar on the poplar grade, so you can push a poplar a little bit, and they grade out pretty good, especially on these long lean ones. I'm gonna take that back to 10. I'm pushing that just a little. Boy, I want to leave that at 12, but I'm gonna take her back to 10. This is a borderline call, being a poplar tree. degrees. Now look at the crook on this one. Go for a 10. And this at first glance is a 10. Just because it's sweet. We know the wood's clear, but it's a 10. And it's pushing it to make a 10 with that sweep on that bud. Now, the grapple tong project we done on the fork side of this grapple, those of you that remember watching that video, I talked about how it affects balance, and it really has affected the balance on this grapple, and it's taken me a while to get used to it. It's not level anymore, which is hard because the spoon side, because of the design, the spoon side of your grapple tends to be stouter and hold up better. So if you make a grapple that's even Steven as far as strength, your fork side's going to be heavier because it's more elegant, you know, more nimble because of the, or more elegant because of the fact that it ain't got the spoon to make it stout, you know. That when I went there is the back side, the back log I made a 10 and left the excess length on the front side of the log, which I'm hoping might be extra wood to bring up the grade more on this side as it goes down. It's a long story, daggone it. I know I'm just stumbling all over myself. It's hard to explain it all. There's a lot of scenario. There's a lot going on. This job is one complex job. And when you're doing this job, any loggers out there that's been asking me questions about cutting up logs and stuff, I'm no professor. I just know how we do it and how I do it, and everybody's got their own habits. But this goes all the way around the board. It don't matter who's cutting up hardwood. This job is one very, I don't even know how many varies I need to use, important job. So if you're working for a company out there and you're watching these videos to try to get an idea on how to cut up or something, the only thing I can really tell you, because I don't know how y'all's cutting up, is if you ain't a stressed out, focused son of a buck when you're cutting up wood, I can pretty much promise you, you're doing it wrong. You need to get out of that machine because you're going to break that company. This job carries a lot of weight. And I've done this job for years, and I've done a shitty job for years. And it's a miracle we're still in business because of it. You know, knowing now what I didn't know then. Now, the less you know about it, the easier it is to do. So, if you don't know what you're doing, it's a pretty easy job to do. Just cut them up. The more you learn about the job, the harder it gets. This job gets harder for me all the time as I learn more about what I'm doing. So you find an old timer, gets on a damn boom, starts cutting up wood. That's why they're so damn slow, because they know so damn much. And they see all the dollars and they understand what's going on. And it takes them longer to make a decision. Probably because it does take that long to make the right decision. But if you're a dumbass and you're just jumping on it and you don't really care, then yeah, it's pretty easy to make a cut decision. Real easy to make a cut decision. And when I first started running boom, boys, it was easy for me to cut up wood. Uncle Herman asked me one time, he said, I don't see how you got the nerve for that. He said, I can't do that job. And I said, oh, it's a piece of cake. You know what I mean? 2 years later, I see one of Herman's loads that he cut up going down the road, and it is perfect cut up wood, done right. Then I realized what he meant, and I just made myself look like an idiot. But he's right. These old men, these older guys that knows what they're doing on cutting up wood, it never gets easier. It just gets harder the more you learn about the job. It'd be probably pretty scary to find out what the guy sending this knuckle boom cost you or gained you in the course of a year or two. Now, what I'm doing here is I got 4 sorts that I'm doing here. This is ash, and I'm stacking this here with the others. I call these the short others. Them are usually, they vary depending on the job, but usually I got a stack all our wood's going to the same place. So the 4 sorts is basically for Eli back in the yard. It ain't for what a lot of logging companies are doing, where they got wood going to different places. So this sort is the others, the short others. That's a awfully sweepy ash, but I think they can use it. Ash grades out good, and I think we can utilize that. Now I'm kind of slinging them because I need to. I'm about stacked in on the others. But these short others, they're 8s and 10 footers, and they're ash, both maples. Now let me get this long log off of here. That ought to just throw in the pallet stock. And by the way, this here's pallet stock. Crating wood, some sycamore, sassafras, gum, and things of that nature. That goes on the back of the lot, basically. And there's an ash I'm cutting through. Let me get some of these short ones. The ash, hickory, maples, cherry, walnut. I stack all them in the other pile. Now, like this log here is debatable. It should go into pallet wood, but I'm going to go ahead and put it over here. Once the log gets so small, there ain't nothing in it but pallet wood. You know, it don't matter what the species. It can just go in the pallet wood pile. But that also depends on, you know, whether it's oak or not, you know, or walnut, you know, or cherry. Let me fling this over here. I need to load out some others, don't I? Monday morning, I'm gonna be Steve, let's go to veneer, because I'm stacked in over here. If you can't see, I can't stack these no more. Or else, what are you looking at? A cheetah hawk? Are they faster than normal hogs?
Yeah, he went behind a big poplar.
Huh.
Let's get out there and land it.
So anyhow, leave the horse play the horses, Stevie. Okay, and then this pile that I'm going to with this long log, which is 12 foot to 16 foot, this here be my the long pile, and I don't separate species on the long pile. I just stack them all together. It's not bad for Eli to sort. It's just the short logs that suck for Eli. What are you? Is all that really necessary? Grow up, Stevie. That's just immature. I'm not jealous, Stevie. Leave me alone. He thinks I'm jealous of him. Now that wood is unsound and too sweeping. That wood is bad. I'm not sending it in. Now, you see the blue, which is the mineral streaks, and the dote, which is basically this poplar's in trouble. Now I'm gonna try to cut that out because that's too much a ratio of mineral and dote to good wood in that small log. There we go. See how she cleaned up? Now it's okay. It ain't wonderful, but it's okay. It'll do. Careful. Get a little hard on my grapple there. I had the CB mic in my hand. That probably wasn't wise. I didn't be throwing chunks of the CB in your hand. Now, I'm going for a 10 footer on this end because we might need it for a little bit of length to help on a grade decision, but it ain't much. There's not much grade in this log. It's pretty much just, there's a little bit, but not much. Now at bottom log, it's just a pallet log, but I'll leave it go there. Okay, this right here is another ash. And it is cricket. Now, I want to take that up to 12 foot, but it's too sweepy. I'm going to have to make it a 10. I just can't squeeze a 12 out of it. And this here is a shaggle bark hickory. This is going in the others. Now, with this hickory's kind of lenient, and I got a wound in the butt, so I need to add a little length to it for that to help with the lumber grading side of it. Let me stretch this out a couple feet. Now, I stretched it into lower grade a couple feet, but I'm hoping the hickory leniency carries that into that for me. But that might have been a little bit of a bad decision. That hickory decision might have been a bad one. By about 1.5 foot. No, it's not. It's knotty on the other side. So that grade matches. Now go ahead, Stevie. Over.
You want to do this veneer back here with a thin down? I want to bring it up there and install, do we?
What do they look like? Doubles or singles? What do they look like on average, or the majority of them?
Probably singles.
If they're singles, bring them on up. I'm just gonna stack this stuff here because I'm getting overstacked over there, and I don't want to start mixing my species. Now this big chunk of this ash is getting thrown over the hill, and I'm gonna try. I think I can squeeze a 10. No, I can't either. That's just an 8. I can pull it up, pick her back, and make an 8 out of it. I shouldn't have been monkeying with that. I should have just thrown the chunk away and brought another tree to the table. Lost some time there. See, I just ain't quite got my timing right. And I'm green on this thing, you know. Or green. Rusty. Now that hickory's up out of the top, so it's going to naturally be a little lower grade. Because it's knottier. Oh, it's a knotty hickory tree. Oh. Now this I need to make 2 short logs out of because of this bad spot that spirals up the tree. There's 2 8-footers in there. There you go, right there. Woo! Push that blade too hard. That was a no-no. Key to operating a knuckle boom is you keep that grapple still. Stevie, that big one looks like a double. Yeah, maybe not. Well, I'm gonna shut this off because I don't want to share veneer, or else I'll be looking for a job. You all have to hire me. Well, that's just a single, no matter how you look at it. That other one could be a damn 18, though. All right, toodaloo, guys. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching. And don't forget to hit the buttons and leave me likes, comments, stuff. Let me know what's up. And to anybody's wanting logger weight gear, go to loggerweight.com and help yourself at the shop there. And we got all that good mess. Take care of it. And mostly just want to say thanks, everybody. Hope everybody has a good one later on.